Always great catching up with my next guest, Lauren Murphy, who's going to be back in action. UFC 276 International Fight Week against Miesha Tate, July 2nd. Lauren, how's it going?
Really well, thank you. Just got out of practice, so sorry I was a little bit late. But
No worries. No, hey, don't you dare apologize. You always make time for me, so I appreciate it. We got it done. It's all good. I wanted to start first with the fact that this fight was supposed to be on May 14th, got moved to July 2nd, which I actually think is great. You know, good shine there on that card. But why was it moved? What was the reason given?
I think because Miesha couldn't make weight.
Oh, okay, interesting. So
Yeah.
yeah. So how did that sort of impact your camp? Because obviously you're getting prepared for that, and you have certain peaks and valleys. How was the adjustment for that?
Actually, it worked out really well for me. I was pumped actually that she wanted to move it. First of all, it's on a bigger card where like I can really make a big comeback, from my last loss. And so I'm super pumped that it's on such a big card. I'm really happy to be fighting her in particular, former champion and a UFC star. So I can't wait to get out there and get after it. So I'm glad it's on a bigger card. And also I came out to Denver for my camp.
Yep.
And it gave me some time to adjust, to meet the coaches out here, get to know them, really figure out like who I want in my corner and who I could work with like throughout the camp. So the extra time has done nothing but good for me. I could not believe it. It's like the universe is just working for me. Yeah.
Well, it's living up to your nickname, Lucky Lauren Murphy, right? It's all working out. Great. We'll talk about camp in a sec. There's a lot of questions I have about that. But first, I want to go all the way back to when you found out that you'd be fighting Miesha, when she was on your radar. I think it surprised a lot of people because I don't know if many felt like she was going down to 125. What was your initial reaction when you heard her name as your next opponent?
Okay, so I was outside Main Street and Mick Maynard was there.
Okay.
And he mentioned something about me fighting Miesha. And I was like wearing a beanie on my head and I pulled it all the way down over my face. I was like, oh my God, Miesha Tate. And I was like, are you serious? I was so excited. And Mick was like, okay, so that's a yes. So I was like, that is 100% a yes. Like, let's fucking go.
That's
and
awesome.
as soon as they got me the contract, I put my signature on it.
By the way, in Canada, we call beanies toques. Did you know that?
I did know that. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yep. Toque.
Nice.
So I had a toque on and I pulled it all the way over my
Hey, you can call it beanie. A lot of Americans don't know that. So I was always trying to give them the little Canadian tidbit when we do these interviews.
And then there's some places that call them toboggans, I think, which to us is a sled. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I've never heard toboggan as like a toque. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I wonder who says that. So anyways. Yeah, don't want people thinking they're getting an ad for like a mountain store or something like that. But anyways, you talked about it there. Miesha having a hard time getting down to 125. You used to fight it at 135. Any concerns about her making weight with the fact that she's never done it and the fight was already moved?
No, because if she doesn't make weight, she's going to pay me.
Right.
So
okay.
I'm good.
Was this the right amount of time off in between fights?
Yeah, 100%. I actually needed all the time I could get. I got really sick for a while and I needed time to recover. So, it was the right amount of time, like to get my head right, I think I needed to make a lot of changes in my camp, especially. And so, it's unfortunate that the title fight went the way that it did, but it really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I needed to change. And so it took time to make those changes, but I feel better than ever. And I've been loving the process, enjoying my camp, enjoying my time. And that's really, I was just telling my coach about it, that it's like, you have to enjoy the process and you have to enjoy what you're doing, because we train like 3 hours a day, and that's more time than we might spend in a cage the entire year, Yeah. So it was definitely the right amount of time for me to get my head back on straight, to figure out what changes need to be made, and then to make those changes. That all takes time, and you don't want to go into a fight like this feeling rushed. So I just can't, like I said, I can't believe, I feel like everything's happening for me.
You mentioned health issues. What exactly happened? You don't have to go into too much detail if you don't want to talk about it, but I was just curious, like what you were dealing with previously.
I developed a really severe gut infection.
Oh, crazy. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so it took some time to find like a specialist that could help me. And it took a long time to recover from it. So
okay.
it's amazing. But if you're watching this interview, man, take care of your gut health because it is our second brain.
Well, leaky gut is something I've heard before. Definitely not a doctor, not trying to pretend to be one here by any means, but I know diet, I think, is a big part of that. What was sort of solution to cure this thing for you?
Yeah, antibiotics and diet. Like I had to change really a lot about not just my diet, but like when you change your diet drastically, it'll end up changing your whole life. So
Right.
it's like when you change your diet, you actually end up changing your lifestyle. And so it was a process of figuring out like how my diet needed to change. That took a long time to get used to, but now I've got it pretty dialed in, and it's amazing. Like my energy levels are so different. My even like the way that I think is different. Like I feel just so much more positive and happy, and it's like stuff like that that I didn't realize your gut really affects, but it
Yeah.
does. It's like your gut's connected to everything, and it affects every system in your body. And yeah, I'm feeling better than ever now. But I'm working with a nutritionist who's very, very high level, extremely high level. There's only a few people in the world that does what she does. And she's an exercise endocrinologist and a clinical dietitian. And so she knows her shit. And
Yeah.
working with her has been a game changer for me. It's really incredible. I can't wait to fight, actually, because I feel like it's been such a game changer that you're going to see a totally different Lauren Murphy.
So what did you change in your diet? Like, what are you primarily eating? I'm actually just curious because I always like hearing stories about, what people are doing as far as their health and improving it. I'm all into that stuff.
Yeah, a lot of like mostly just whole foods, like
Yeah.
nothing processed.
Yeah.
Basically, like I kind of think of it like nothing white, like no
Mhm.
white sugar, no dairy products, no white flour. That's a big one. Just like slow digesting carbs, a lot of whole foods, like seeded grains, things like that. Purple potatoes, sweet potatoes. Um, yeah, I wouldn't call it like the most what's the word I'm looking for? It's satisfying. I mean, it's not like a big old, like I've been craving a cheeseburger for a while now, so after the fight, that's the first thing I'm going to go eat
For
is a big
sure.
old nasty cheeseburger. But
Yeah.
yeah, like brown rice and just nothing processed, really. Nothing processed. A lot of whole foods, fruits and veggies, obviously. Any kind of meat that I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Interesting. So more of like a paleo diet, I would think. Is paleo, I think, is you can have your protein, which is like meat and stuff. You can have no dairy, no wheat. So fruit, veggies, meat. That's pretty much what I hear. Chicken and salmon's allowed too, I think. Is it kind of like that?
Fruit, veggies, any kind of meat, and then I can have carbohydrates. They just have to be like not processed. They
Yeah.
have to be slow burning. Um, any Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I don't want to get too much into that though. But yeah, and there's
Yeah.
like a lot of certain chemicals I can't eat. I can't even remember all of them. I literally have an app that like tells
Tells you
me
everything.
like
Okay.
I can't have anything that has like fructans in it or oligosaccharides, or I would have to like look them up.
No
I need to
worries. No, yeah. This isn't the show to go through all that for sure. But yeah, I was just curious about that because yeah, I always know for certain people. So it's weird how the human body works, right? Like certain people have different reactions to different types of foods. So I find that
yeah,
very interesting there.
yeah.
Let's just quickly talk about the Valentina fight. I mean, we talked about the positives, right? The fact that you went so deep into deep waters with Valentina, do you take that as a positive? Because there's a lot of girls who don't even see the second, third round with her.
Yeah, and for the condition that I was in that fight,
Yeah.
yes, 100%. Because I think if I had been healthy in that fight and had been 100%, I mean, to tell you the truth, James, it's like that camp, anything that could have gone wrong, anything you could imagine went
Mhm.
wrong. I've actually never seen anything like it, not in my own life and not in anybody that I've ever worked with in MMA. I have never seen a camp go
Mhm.
so god awful as that
Yeah.
camp for Valentina went. And to be really honest with you, I probably should not have been in the cage that night. In fact, 100%, I should not have been in the cage that night. But I did not want to miss my chance to fight the champion.
Yeah.
And I was afraid that if I didn't fight her that night, that I might never fight her. And so I made the choice. I was like, I'm going to fight. And there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know going in. I didn't really understand how sick I was. I didn't understand. Um, there was a lot that I didn't really know,
Mhm.
but I 100%. Like, it was like you could have chopped my leg off and I would have been like, no, I still want to fight because I want to fight the best in the world. And you know, that's the fighter in me. That's what I do. That's who I am. That's why I'm in the UFC. That's why I'm one of the best in the world, because I wanted to fight. And that fight was maybe the worst performance of my life. I would say it was one of the, like, on one hand, it was like a really awful experience because, you know, it felt like I had dreamed for so long of fighting somebody of her caliber, and I wanted to give her a good fight, you know, win or lose. I wanted to go out there and put my best foot forward, and that didn't happen. And so that's heartbreaking. But also, fighting Valentina Shevchenko is one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. Like, you know,
no one can take that away from you. You had a title shot. You got to fight one of the best fighters of all time. Like, that in itself is just like an experience, right? And that's what this whole sport's about. So
it really was. It was a cool experience. She showed me a level of fighting that I never would have seen if I had not shared the cage with her. And for that, I'm super, super, super grateful. So I do hold on to that. I hold on to that really tight when I think about that fight, because it does hurt. It still hurts. There's still days where it makes me like angry, or it makes me tear up, or it makes me feel like regret to think about how differently things could have gone and how differently things should have gone. But but they didn't. They didn't. And for whatever reason, I ended up in the cage that night with her, and that was my choice.
Speaking of Valentina, obviously she's fighting in a couple days here in Singapore, defending her title against Talia Santos. How do you see that fight going on? Because I see a lot of people, I actually see a few people saying, hey, Santos might pull a Julianna Pena here.
Yeah, she has a puncher's chance because she's so powerful and she's pretty long. She's a little bit taller, I think. And sometimes I think Valentina has a hard time dealing with like size, you know. That's what gave her so much trouble in the Amanda Nunes fight, for sure. So I think if Tyla can touch her chin, then yeah, maybe she could make something happen. But if she doesn't land that shot, I don't see it going well for Tyla, because it's like that body lock of Valentina's is disgusting. It's the best in the UFC, in my opinion. Her clinch is the best in the UFC. Maybe, like, anyway, her clinch is nasty. And I feel like that's kind of Tyla's weak point. That's how Mara Borella beat her. That's her one loss on her record. And Valentina takes a couple minutes, 2-3 minutes to figure out every opponent, and then she executes whatever she needs to execute to beat that person. So I think Tyla's got a chance the same way anybody has a chance, you know?
Yeah.
She's got a great chance because she's powerful and she's experienced and she's a very good athlete. So if she were to beat Valentina, boy, what an upset that would be. And the whole division would be open again, right? The whole division would be open, and that's kind of cool. But I like the idea that Valentina is the best ever. I like that idea. So I'm not necessarily going to root for either one, but I will be watching.
Do you think Valentina wins, though? If I was to give you some money, would you put it on Valentina, or would you put it on?
If you had to put some money down, I'd put it on Val. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like the honesty there. Let's talk about Colorado. That's where you are right now. I know you had done some training there in the past, but what was the link? How did you end up training there, and how long has it been?
So I've been out here a while, partially because the fight got moved, but Montana De La Rosa came out here to fight
That's
train
right.
because she was going to fight Maycee Barber. And so I wanted to train with Montana because she's a good wrestler, very good grappler. And we train so well together. I love Montana. So she was coming out here and I was like, well, I'll go with you, you know, like, let's go check it out. And I really liked it. I enjoyed it. They have a really great team out here. I'm working with the Elevation Fight team.
That's right.
And I also train over at Easton. And is that it? Yeah, Easton and I've been at Pound for Pound working with Justin Houghton too. And so he's got like a different style than I'm used to for striking. And it's just, I feel like my learning curve has been so steep, and I'm like a sponge, like just absorbing it all. And there's a lot of good women to work out with here too, like Miranda Maverick and Claire Guthrie, who's on this
Ultimate
season
Fighter,
of Tough, and Kat Leonard, she's in Invicta. She's got a fight coming up. Mallory Martin's out here. Like, just a lot of high level. Shauna Dobson, I just got done working out with Shauna this morning.
Awesome.
Like, yeah, a lot of high level women, and we beat the hell out of each other, and like, it's just been a lot of fun to hang out with everyone. JJ Aldrich, we were doing rounds for a while. Like, Oh yeah, I got to work a little bit with Rose Namajunas too. That was awesome for me. Like loved it. So
Good.
just being around like fresh faces, high level fighters, tough women, skilled women, it's really been a blast.
I'll throw another name out there that I saw in one of the photos, and I know her quite well. Haley Cowan. We're going to see her on Contender Series in a bit. She is so strong. Like, I don't know how she made 125 before. I know she's fighting at bantamweight now, but what was it like getting to work with her? Because I know she's kind of the future as far as what people are saying.
Yeah, she is. She's super skilled, super strong, hell of an athlete. Yeah, we only sparred one time and we went pretty lightly, but like she was super fun to spar with, great attitude, great personality. Like I could definitely see her, I could definitely see being on a team with her and really enjoying it. Yeah, she's wonderful.
And is this just your camps you want to do here, or do you see yourself moving out to Colorado? Because I know Texas was home for a while, or it has been.
Yeah, no, we love Texas. I can't see myself moving to Colorado because there's too much snow.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah.
I miss Texas too. I've been actually really homesick the last couple weeks. Like I miss my dogs. I miss my husband. I miss like the familiarity of everybody at Henzo Gracie out there. I miss the heat. I miss the humidity. So, but it's good for me to get away for camp because it helps me focus a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I can just not block the camera. I feel like I can just come out here and train and fight and be an athlete. And when I'm at home, Joe spoils me. Like I want to just lay around in the sunshine and play with my dogs. But when I'm out here, like it's like you get up, you go to work, you eat, you train, you sleep. You eat, you train, you sleep. And I love that lifestyle, and it focuses me in. But I miss home. I miss home.
Yeah. No, I hear you on that. Who's going to be in your corner for this fight with the camp that you've been at?
So Joe will still be in the corner. Banks, this guy Carrington Banks.
Oh, I know Carrington Banks. Yeah.
He's awesome, man. What a good coach that guy is. And then Sean Madden, I've been working with.
Oh, love Sean. What a great coach he is, huh? Just super nice guy, and just I don't think gets enough credit for the work that he does. He's really good.
I think you're right about that. I don't think he gets nearly enough credit. And then, like I said, I got to work with Justin Houghton a lot. And so that it's kind of like an untraditional style that he has, but I've definitely picked up some cool tips and tricks from him that I plan on using in the fight. And yeah, it's been cool. It's like I wish I could have like 7 people in my corner,
Right. Yeah. No, of course. Get an army in there. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
That sounds great. How do you envision the fight playing out on July 2nd? How do you see it going down?
I see a lot of different ways that I could finish Miesha. I see a lot of different ways, and I feel so confident right now. Yeah, there's a ton of different ways that I could finish the fight. I don't think Miesha has the ability to really hurt me, like the way Valentina had the ability to hurt me, So I see a lot of different ways that I could finish this fight, and I do plan on executing, and I really want to show the world that I'm still a contender. And I think with a win over Miesha, it's like, then I'm right back in contendership. If I beat Miesha, then I should be back in line in another contendership fight. And so if I win that contendership fight, whoever it is, I should be fighting for the title again. So if I can have a really impressive performance on July 2nd, then that's the path that I'm taking, because I do want to get back to the title, and I do want to live out that dream that I've always had of giving my best to the best. And I don't think I got to do that last September. I know I didn't get to do that last September. I didn't get to put my best foot forward, and I didn't even really get to put up a good fight, and that makes me so sad. And so I might have gotten knocked down a little bit, but it's going to take a lot more than that, I think, to keep me away from the championship.
There's another flyweight fight on your card. I was just curious your thoughts on it. We've got Jessica Eye and Maycee Barber. Kind of an interesting fight, the veteran and Eye, and then Barber sort of still the up-and-comer. Who do you see winning that one? Because that's a really interesting fight in your division.
Yeah, it is. It is interesting. I'm going to lean on Maycee to win that fight. Just like her pace and her aggression gets her so far. And she's getting more skilled every time she fights. So I think there was a time where Maycee Barber might have been like an easier fight. Like when she was first in the UFC, it was like, okay, she's not super experienced or skilled yet, but now she's looking good in her fights, and she's doing what, like, she's executing, and she's confident. And like I said, she's a good athlete. She's powerful. She's not afraid. She's real aggressive. And Jessica, we'll have to see because she just went back to her old camp, like
I
in
saw that.
Cleveland,
Yeah.
I think. And so we'll have to see what kind of effect that has on her because it's like when Jessica I shows up, she's beat Caitlin Chukagian. You know, when Jessica I shows up, she beats Viviane Arujo. When Jessica I shows up, she is actually a real tough competitor. And I know people tend to kind of write her off, but it's like it really depends on which Jessica I shows up. And so we'll see if that camp in Cleveland makes her comfortable and confident in the cage, then she could very well pull it off. But I'll lean towards Maycee for that fight.
Also in your division, someone you mentioned there, JJ Aldrich fought Erin Blanchfield last week. What did you make of Erin's performance, especially at 22 years old, getting a finish like that? It was pretty impressive.
Ooh, she snatched up that guillotine quick, didn't she? I thought
Yeah.
JJ was winning that fight right up.
She was, yeah. First round for sure, she won. Yeah, outstriking Erin a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the way the fight game goes sometimes. It fucking sucks. I love JJ. Yeah, it's a disappointing result, but like you gotta fucking pick yourself up and keep moving on. But Blanchfield's obviously a prospect. Obviously that's somebody that the UFC is gonna want to bring along, and she's got a nasty ground game. But yeah, we'll see. I think JJ just kind of got a little unfocused there, maybe in the second round, and didn't quite stay on her A game. But yeah, like I said, she was winning that fight right up until she lost. So, but Erin Blanchfield's nasty on the ground. She'll snatch up a submission quick. So, yeah, I didn't really pay attention too much to her before, but I'm paying attention now.
Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting up-and-comers in your division. The division is as exciting as it's ever been right now. It's really, really awesome.
The flyweights are the shit. Like, yeah. I've always thought that since the division opened. I was like, this is going to be the best division. And people kind of like talk about the 115 division like it's so great or whatever. And Amanda's the GOAT, obviously, at 135 and 145. But it's like, Pena's the champ now, but like Amanda was the GOAT for forever. But I think flyweights are the shit. Flyweights are fun. Flyweights are where it's at.
Yeah, no, I agree. Speaking of Nunes, the rematch, how do you see that going with Pena and Amanda Nunes?
Ooh, good question. To be honest with you, I think Nunes is going to take it in the rematch. I think she's going to be more focused. I think she's going to be more dialed in. Sometimes it's like you fucking have an off night. And to me, it looked like she had a real bad night that first night that they fought. And Pena was on, and she was doing her thing. Pena's usually on when she fights, but it's like I think Amanda definitely has more power, and she has a lot of skills. And so it'll be interesting to see because Pena's definitely got the confidence that a champion needs. Yeah.
Absolutely. Lauren, appreciate you doing this. Your phone overheated. We went through all types of things to get this done, but we got it done. So I appreciate it. If anyone wants to give you a follow on social media, let them know where it's at. And I'm sure you got some sponsors to plug. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I'm at Lauren Murphy MMA, and that's on Twitter and Instagram. And instead of really plugging some sponsors, you guys, Sunny's Wellness CBD, first of all, you can find them on my bio. But we're dropping merch tomorrow, Friday.
Nice.
And so there's going to be new merch on fanarch.com, and also I'm on Millions now. So both of those sites are going to have a bunch of merch on there. There's beanies, there's sweatpants, there's t-shirts, there's all kinds of stuff. And there's a bunch of different designs you can pick from. So go check it out. Pick up the one you like the most. And and also they can send me Ask Me Anything videos on both of those sites. So send me an Ask Me Anything video. I love getting those. I always send back a really cool video. So yeah, hit me up.